So today I wanted to go over a few of the trades from last week that the bot took for the CRT copy trading. So we'll start out with Dogecoin right here. Dogecoin on April 15th, which was, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday, got a bullish signal right here, took entry at the opening of candle 3, which was similar to the 15-minute order block entry, so it just takes entry at the opening of candle 3. If it's roughly the same price, then it takes just the open entry. This setup, in my opinion, wasn't too great. I mean, price was dropping. You had this turtle soup right here. Like, we were probably going to end up dropping a bit further. I would have probably looked for this low right here, but we ended up popping back before that. We'll probably end up taking that low out right here after this price moved down. Or we might pop up into next week, make a high a week, and then pop down. But this setup overall wasn't too great. Let's look at the 15-minute. So 15-minute, I mean, honestly doesn't look too bad. I mean, you have a pretty good range right here, right? Then you get a turtle soup, but in my opinion, if this was the range right here, now if this was the range with this drop right here, and then once we created an order block right here, that probably would have been a good trade to the midpoint of the range, and you could see how it even just respected that randomly. Like, I just randomly marked that, but respected the midpoint of the range right here. That would have been a better trade. You could see, so when CRTs happen, they happen a lot more often. They tend to play out a lot more often when you have a thick down close candle that forms the purge. So you can see right here, this candle isn't a thick down close candle. This is just a wick of the low of candle 1. So when you have a wick of a low of candle 1, it's less probability to end up playing out. Like, this could be an order block right here. You stabbed in these old lows, created this order block right here, but we did unfortunately get stopped out before even tapping the midpoint. So I mean, this could have been your trade right here too, if that's something that you saw. You could have taken this trade, and I believe that this specific bot is aiming for TP2, so this would have targeted the high anyway. So this would have ended up getting stopped out. But let's say if you wanted to take this trade, it's not great RR, but this would have been the trade to be taking when you stabbed into this, formed an order block. You got close above, so it formed an order block, changed the state of delivery. This could have been your trade right here, but you would have got wicked out. So overall, in my opinion, this wasn't too great of a trade. This candle, with how it wicked the low, you'd rather see a close below the low. So, like, for example, let's say, again, this was the range here. Or let's say this was the range. Say this was the range. Right, you have a high, candle 1, candle 2 forms right here, let's say. So let's just, for example, take this as candle 1, this range right here, candle 1, right? Candle 2 opens right here, something like that, stabs into the low. Now this is a nice candle to be stabbing into the low, right? But we don't get a change in the state of delivery till down here. So this would be your order block. You get a down close candle, change in state of delivery. You could long the open of this order block, stop down here and target midpoint, and then TP2. Now that would be a good setup. This setup overall, though, as I just said, wasn't too great because of this just wicking the low. So that was Doge. That was an L, unfortunately. ETH right here. So this one, honestly, is a pretty good setup. It just didn't play out. You could see here, right? That's candle 1 right here. This one. That's candle 1, candle 2, candle 3. And we got stopped out on candle 4. About 4 hours after the candle 3 opened. So right here we had a FVG, right? That's what the algo is marking. And then we also took out this low right here inside of the FVG. So honestly, this wasn't too bad of a setup. It just didn't play out. Let's look at the 15-minute. So that had an FVG, and it also had this low right here that we took out. And you could see right here that this was a super big, large down close candle, right? But what didn't we get here? I'll give you a second. We didn't get change in state delivery. So this might be something that we can end up adding to the algo, like verify that the candle that stabbed into the low, which would be the order block, gets closed above, right? because that's marking a change in state delivery. Without this getting closed above, there's no change in state delivery. We're still dumping, right? No close above, still no change in state delivery. Down, 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 down. Close above, change in state delivery popped up, right? But we didn't have any kind of pop-ups right here. So we could start maybe looking to implement something like that, where we're looking at the order block candle and verifying that it did get closed above, right? We used an order block. Um, we use an order block in the algo, but it doesn't. We don't have them on all the bots. However, we could implement something where we're checking candle 2, the one that stabbed into the low, to get closed above, and that marks change of state delivery, and might make it higher probability. We would have to look at the stats on that, but this setup overall wasn't too bad. The lower time frame kind of iffy, but the higher time frame honestly is a pretty good setup. So I would probably be taking that myself, to be honest. Again, where are we? Right here. So just unfortunately didn't play out. And then we had 2 trades on Solana. One was today that ended up playing out pretty nice. Got back at the loss on Solana, so we're down 2R this week. But we did get back the loss on Solana. So Solana had a 2-hour, right here, candle 1, candle 2, candle 3. Popped into this FBG, unfortunately got wicked out and then reversed, and we would have been in profit and taken profit at the high of candle 1. So that trade would have played out. This one's not a terrible setup. The only thing I don't necessarily like is that this candle just took out these highs, right here and right here. So we probably would have wanted to target internal liquidity, which is this right here. This would have been your internal liquidity. So after you take external liquidity, you're likely going to take some sort of internal liquidity, and this would have been the internal liquidity, unfortunately, where our stop was. So right here, you could see how we blasted through this high, right? All these highs. So we did take external liquidity here, but the difference is that we didn't just wick stuff, right? This was just a wick. This was just grabbing these highs to reverse and take internal liquidity. This was a breakout, right? So this trade, necessarily I wouldn't like this too much because this is high a day, right? And it's when you have a CRT formed, especially like during London, right? So this was 12 a.m., 2 a.m., right? So this would be the London session, even though it's the weekend. This is the London quote-unquote session. When you make a high a day during London, these highs are high resistance and harder to tap, right? So when you make highs between like 2 to 5 a.m. and 8 to 11 a.m., highs or lows, they're harder to be broken and tapped into. So this wasn't that great of a setup, but did end up playing out. Let's look at the lower time frame. This is the order block right here. You could see that we only wicked it. So honestly, not great setup, to be honest, but it did end up playing out. I think this was our entry candle right here. But you know, still good setup. Played out. So that was 1.25R, I believe. This trade was roughly. So again, this got back the loss on Solana, so we're only down 2R on this week. I think I might have taken a better entry. Yeah, caught the bottom right here. You can see we have an order block entry on this, so it caught the entry right here. So almost the bottom of candle 3, so that was pretty nice. So yeah, it was about 1.25R, see right there. So nice trade overall. I'm happy that it took a win and got back the loss that it had the other day. But that's the review. Our account is currently up 25% roughly. I know that some of the copy traders have been saying that they're not 100% reflective of it. However, the problem is that Blowfin has spreads, and then also because we're doing it for free, our profit share, we're taking some of the profits from the copiers because otherwise, you know, it wouldn't really be worth our time to be doing this. So because we're offering it for free and also got every single person copying BIP1 fees, which was very hard to do, and it took a lot of time to get that from Blowfin, it's lowering all your futures fees as well. So I mean, right there, you're kind of losing out on those high fees because of 0.08%, I believe, of the position size was the fee, but now it's down to 0.052 or 0.58. I forget what it is exactly, but it's about one third. So you're already gaining by getting back one third of your fees that you were paying to Blowfin anyway. So that was something that we did get for every single person that does copy the algo, and that's why we're offering it for free. All you have to do is use our affiliate link, and then you could get those fees. So that was something that we figured that it was, on our end, gave us the validity of doing profit share because we are just offering it for free. So if you're not happy with any of the results, then you could just go ahead and uncopy. But on our end, it's fully tracked by Blowfin. We have no affiliation to change anything with these stats. It's about up 25% so far. Even after those 3 losses and then 1 win, we're still up about 25% on the year. So I'm happy with how the algo is performing. Again, some of the copiers aren't getting exact results as close to ours as I would like, but that's due to fees, profit share, and also spreads. Because if we enter a position, then once we enter a position, then we have 59, 60 other people copying that same exact position. So Blowfin's liquidity isn't the best out of the entire industry. Like Bybit would be better. However, we're US based, so this is our best option at the moment. We had to discontinue Tron, the Tron bot, even though it was performing pretty good, and that's one of the better win rate bots. We had to discontinue it because the spreads were way too high. We were entering positions and then people were getting filled like up here. And then if we're taking profit right here, we're dropping the price back down, and then people are losing on a winning trade, which wasn't really fair for us to even be doing. So we ended up discontinuing that. But like higher market cap coins like Solana and stuff, they had more liquidity for, so that's why we're still running it on those. So overall, I'm happy with the bot's performance. 25% on the year so far is pretty good. It did run the account up to 50% roughly since the beginning of the year. It did have some drawdown, but we're overall up right now 25% roughly. So I'm happy with how it's performing, and I can't wait to see how the bot performs on the rest of the year. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. See you next time.